Look at a 7 by 7 Rubik's Cube. Its structure is so dense, the outer layers are visibly rounded to prevent the mechanism from collapsing. Across its surface, 218 unique miniature pieces lock together, 8 corners, 60 edges, and a grid of 150 independent centers. This diagram illustrates the statistical reality of those 218 pieces. If you scramble them, the puzzle can be arranged in 1.95 times 10 to the power of 160 different ways, a number that exceeds the total amount of atoms in the observable universe. Navigating through that volume of combinations and returning the cube to its solved state in under 2 minutes is a biological and cognitive outlier. The human brain cannot actively calculate that many variables on a ticking clock. Solving a puzzle this massive requires something beyond fast hands. It forces a competitor to replace conscious calculation with optimized pattern recognition. In October 2025, an American speedcuber named Max Park stopped the timer at 1 minute 33.48 seconds. For years, Max held a near-total monopoly over big cube world records. His approach to the plastic grid relies on a very specific cognitive state. He describes it with a simple motto: don't think, just solve. This diagram shows the 4 stages of skill learning, ending with the peak tier, unconscious competence. At this level, the brain bypasses active thought. The hands recognize patterns and react purely on intuition. Because of his ability to stay locked in this state of flow, the community viewed Max's record as a permanent fixture. Operating on pure intuition makes a champion difficult to catch. It suggests that to beat them, a rival might need to change the procedural sequence of the solve itself. On May 10, 2026, at an official competition in Malaysia, Lim Hung slapped the timer mat at 1 minute 32.92 seconds. Trimming half a second off a time that had stood for 7 months signaled a shift in the hierarchy of big cube solving. It raised an immediate question: how did a challenger manage to bypass Max Park's intuitive perfection on the sport's largest puzzle? Lim Hung didn't just outturn his opponent, he demonstrated that a different procedural path could achieve the same result with fewer pauses, shifting the battle from raw speed to mechanical strategy. This diagram shows Max Park's traditional reduction method. The solver first groups the 150 scrambled centerpieces into solid color blocks. Next, they pair the outer edge pieces into uniform strips, effectively turning the massive 7 by 7 puzzle into a standard 3 by 3 cube. Lim Hung's strategy, called the Yao method, operates differently. The solver builds the outer cross edges of the cube first, locking them in place while the interior centerpieces are still scrambled. For years, competitors viewed Yao as too demanding for massive cubes. Searching for edge pieces across 218 tiles while trying to preserve a partially built frame often causes pauses. But Lim optimized his spatial tracking to eliminate those delays. Reduction relies on the uninterrupted speed of grouping pieces, while Yao demands higher spatial awareness to track targets around a pre-built frame. Having a multi-year winning streak snapped applies an immediate psychological pressure to a competitor. Psychologists call this the self-focus theory. Sudden pressure can force an athlete to consciously think about the mechanics of what they do, which can disrupt their unconscious competence. To protect his flow state, Max relies on high-stress competition simulation practice. He solves in front of crowds and under the glare of digital timers, conditioning his brain to ignore every external variable. He would need that conditioning at the Western Championship in California, held from May 23rd to the 25th, 2026, just 2 weeks after Lim's upset. Reclaiming a world record at this level means a competitor has to defeat the opponent's time on the mat while managing the internal pressure of the moment. Max delivered an explosive counterpunch. He executed a reduction solve to stop the clock at a blistering 1 minute 32.07 seconds. A 7 by 7 record that sat untouched for 7 months was broken twice in exactly 14 days. The 7 by 7 event is currently defined by 2 separate, equally viable approaches to the same problem. The current leaderboard reflects a struggle between these 2 methods, as Yao and reduction solvers trade records at almost every major competition. As long as these titans continue trading blows with contrasting strategic methods, the absolute limit of human optimization remains unknown.